Apex location. It is a well-known fact that endodontic treatment success depends on the proper preliminary processing and obturations of root canals. The good result from the treatment is at risk in case of preparation or obturations above or below the physiological constriction. X-ray testing is a common method of determining root canal length. Unfortunately, the X-ray determination of canal length is inexact in most cases because of two-dimensional image of the three-dimensional object. Usually, canals are determined as considerably shorter. The disadvantage is successfully overcome using the electronic Apex locators. They can be used either independently or in addition to the X-ray methods. Depending on the design, Apex locators can work well in relatively dry or dried canal, method of Sunada, or in wet or beforehand filled with liquid canals, method of Kobayashi. For the first time in the diagnostics therapy complex Scorpion, there is the new generation Apex locator, so-called Adapte Apex Locator. For this type of Apex locators, inserting the top of file in a root canal, the device makes a set of preliminary calculations to determine the degree of humidity and, depending on it, adapt the method of measurement for dry or wet canal. In this movie, we will discuss the essence of symbols and signals. To illustrate the process of measurement, let's imagine an idealized root canal with almost a round cross-section, without significant curves, without lateral canals, without delta apical, and with well-shaped apical constriction. Let's assume work will be done in a relatively dry canal. Choose the file with enough big number, 50 for instance. The file has to be with plastic handle in order not to cause a short circuit on accidental touching of mucosa membrane or other tissues. Put a rubber stop on the file 2 to 3 millimeters across the tip. A passive electrode is put on buccal mucosa membrane. Mark a point where we will set the rubber stop and which we will be further using as a starting point to determine the distance to the physiological constriction. Then follows gradual insertion of file. The insertion is slow with easy forward movement. The device makes preliminary measurements and is self-tuned to work in relatively dry canal. The file penetration in the canal, relatively far from apical constriction, is indicated by a spoken message, dentin, and a file gradually penetrating in the tooth can be seen on the display. Approaching the apical constriction, the accuracy improves greatly. When the tip of the file reaches preliminary defined statistical value of electrical parameters, the device informs about approaching the apical constriction of 2 and 1 conditional steps degrees, and on a display is shown a scaled graphical scheme with penetrating tip of the file with 2 and 1 steps. On slowly inserting the file in the canal, the foramen physiologicum on the display is shown a graph of the penetration of the tip in the canal. The device generates a speech message to the dentix, Apeks. Caution! The device generates the message Apeks in the entire zone between foramen physiologicum and foramen apicale, so it is the dentist who defines where to stop inserting the file. The dentist removes the file, measures the distance between tip and rubber stop with an endodontic ruler, and adjusts all instruments for the work to be done. If the file continues to be inserted, the tip will pass in the peri-apical area and will touch periodontal structures with low resistance. On the screen will be shown the penetration in the peri-apical zone, and the device will generate a speech message to the dentist over. If during the insertion of the tip of the vial in the canal, the device determines a presence of liquid, blood, exudate, or canal is filled with liquid, especially, the device adapts automatically the method of the measurement to the wet canal. On the screen is shown graphic scheme like for water troughs. The speech messages dentin 2, 1 are locked, and there is only an interrupted alternating frequency sound signal only. On reaching the area between foramen physiologicum and foramen apicale, the device writes on the display Apeks and announces a speech message Apeks. The Apex location is comparatively exact and convenient method for work if the results of measurement are interpreted correctly. The method is reliable and at present has no alternative.
Apex